all the way up there, though. You know? That's the way we came. You have to go up a little bit.
Caves, small holes right in the side of the mountain.
They're going down.
Even for a desert. Well, that's the way we came.
Oh.
Oh my God.
Almost like its own little small oasis in the middle of the desert. Welcome to Masada. Masada cable car is going to take us all the way up there.
Choose not to. Let's just keep playing around, you know. It's like, you know, I mean, they're going to start getting antsy, you know, they're going to wait around and have to, it's like, you better have some idea of what you're doing, where you're going.
We are just going to fit.
Oh my God. And these are not air conditioned buses.
Welcome to New York City in the middle of
You know, the tail or the front end.
This is the city subway.
I'm sorry, no pictures. Roll the windows down.
You should have reapplied.
I have my children in the car.
I'll take the hit.
Put your hands in the air and no one will drink your care.
Everybody.
I've been worn deodorant since 1996.
Oh, Daniel, you could have done
I don't know your name. Can't be tall.
selfie. Just making sure.
She's like, they call this the running shirt party. Just have one picture right there.
That's great.
I'll try to get an aerial shot.
There it is.
I thought somebody was on a speaker. Hey,
When is the camel ride?
You can just drop. You can be dropped off right here.
Now, what is this? Where,
I
what?
can throw you out.
Look, there's a stairway.
Try to move.
I'm not really sure what I'm doing.
Those shapes are so.
It's from the water. There's a water place out of
I guess Brandon will let us know when we get up there.
Yeah. I learned that from them before time.
Yes, exactly.
This is where they filmed Littlefoot's Return.
Yeah.
Littlefoot 970. Spike, you forgot.
I was like raised on those movies. That's why I learned all of my
Sarah.
He did say Sarah.
I always don't understand why they call her Sarah.
That feels
So we're gonna come this way and
It was at that moment they all fell to their death.
Stephanie Lily.
Now we know why it was called Masada.
We need silence for the pilot to land.
Everyone fasten your seatbelts.
Everyone. Smoking light is on.
We made it!
We didn't die!
But if you will notice, the fasten seatbelt signs are on.
Praise the Lord.
See, that wasn't too bad. Look at this view.
Call me white trash, but I really want to spit just to see you guys down there.
I know, I'm afraid I'm gonna drop my phone. It's kind of
For real.
Just watch yourself.
No worries. What?
Right here.
Yeah, what's that?
That's very cool.
That would be sparrow poo.
Oh, is it? It's all very nice and it's like diarrhea.
Pretty much.
I love going up that way.
All right, let's walk up. Oh,
sorry.
excuse me.
تستاهل معه.
هنا بحر واحد جايش لك يا مفتوح.
And we still have to walk. Jeez. At least we didn't have to walk up all that.
It would have taken us a couple hours.
Look at that staircase. Winds itself all the way up.
Unbelievable.
Just imagine having to hike up all them stairs.
Not in this heat.
A gallon of water would be gone in a heartbeat. Going uphill, walking sideways / backwards.
Did you run down and up already? No, I'm gonna try to start at the bottom though. See if there's a person to the left.
Hugh actually wants to run the stairs.
Midday or it's too hot or something.
There's a snake happening. severe
That's the
weather
stair-
conditions.
that's the
What's
stairway.
severe weather?
It's hot.
I've actually done that before when there's no room.
Why do we go hiking?
Time. And I don't want to kill it. No,
I don't want to kill everyone.
It's hot. It's very hot.
You didn't lie when you said it was hot.
What a view.
You can't even see what. Can you guys see what you're taking a picture of? Because it's so bright. See anything.
Yeah, we just jump down this way. I don't feel like going all the way around. Go ahead. Oh, look, more sharp grass. I'm gonna go down here.
This has got to be yet again another. This one of the sites you could easily spend a good couple hours, 2-3 hours here because of the history of this place. All right. So, but if we're going to get everything in that we need to today, we've got to cut time a little bit short. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share. But Talia, I want you to, if I say something and you're like, I'm going to take a couple minutes and share on that, please jump in. Just be like, stop, okay? And lay it on us, because this is our favorite site to be in. So, what I want to do is I just want to give a brief introduction.
Favorite site in my older.
Say again?
I'm saying it's my favorite site in my older.
Yeah, I know. She really loves this site. It is a phenomenal site. So just real quick, what I'll do is, so obviously we're at a location called Masada. Everybody say Masada.
Masada.
Psalm chapter 18, Masada, my God is my fortress. Masada means fortress, okay? So this is a fortress, Herod, palace, extraordinary location, okay? So this is Herod built this place, all right? Now it was a plateau before Herod built it here, but obviously Herod expanded it and made it something quite special. And being very Herodian, for those of you that went with me to the Herodian, he loves his swimming pools. There are swimming pools here, okay? So when you're in a place like this, you got to ask the question, where in the world did he get the water from, all right? Obviously he's not going to be bringing Dead Sea water up here to swim in, because once you guys swim in the Dead Sea later on, you're going to realize it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. It truly is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. And I've done it twice, and that's when I realized this is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. So being very Herodian in nature, this place was absolutely extravagant. Okay, so as we work our way through this place, we're gonna hit a couple of really strategic sites. Now there's cisterns that are found all over this place. Now up Tali, there are 19 cisterns, large ones. Is that correct? 19 cisterns that have been found here. All right. Some can hold an excess of 1 million gallons. Okay. So now that you walked in Engedi, we've been driving through here, you feel the heat. Think of how spectacular it would have been for a visitor to come to this place and see the copious amounts of fresh water. Okay. So you've got to ask the question, how in the world did he get it? We are around wadis right now, all right? So there's no natural spring here, so we don't have a spring like we did in Engedi, but because of the flash floods that came through here, okay, what they would do is they had cisterns on the bottom of the mountain with aqueducts that during the rainy season that would flood the water into the cisterns down low, and then they would then get the water up here, okay, by buckets or whatever means in order to continue to keep the cisterns full up higher, okay? Now there were aqueduct systems that
that did come up a little bit higher, but you couldn't, I mean, obviously you can't get an aqueduct system to get up this high, so they had to be able to figure out different ways to get their fresh water up here to the top, okay? So this is very, whenever, as you begin to experience what Herod was like, this is very Herodian, and this is one of the most spectacular places that he built. Now, if there was a revolt, all right, and we're going to talk about revolts in a little bit, as far as Jewish revolts go, but if there was a revolt underneath Herod, okay, he had a plan in place to get out of Dodge. All right, he had strategically placed fortresses all throughout Israel and over into Jordan as a plan as far as having to move out and go to different places and eventually escape to get away from a Jewish revolt if that was to happen. All right, Masada was on that list. The Herodian, which is next to Bethlehem, came before here. So, and obviously he had his the Antonia fortress and his palace in the city of Jerusalem. And so what would happen is he would go from Jerusalem to the Herodian to Masada. If need be, he would cross Masada to a fortress that he built called Machaerus, which means the dagger. That's where John the Baptist was beheaded by Herod Antipas. And if need be, he would then go straight south from there to his homeland of the Edomites. Okay? Where he would go, and obviously in southern Jordan, he saw all that in the south, back to his lineage and his roots if he had to ultimately escape. Okay? Now, all that being said, Masada was eventually taken over by what's called, as we talked about, the Zealots, but not just the Zealots, the Sicarii. Everybody say Sicarii. Sicarii. All right, now the Sicarii was a group within the Zealots. They were the most radical, and they were considered to be the best way to describe it is the assassins. All right, and what they would do is they would kill anybody and everybody that stood with Rome. In fact, it's said that they would walk the streets of Jerusalem at night looking for Herodians, and they would walk up behind them and pull out their Sicarii, which was a knife that had a curve to it, and they would shank them in the back and then keep walking. Okay? To pretty much, again, take the kingdom by force. This is the Sicarii, all right? These were the guys that led the revolt, the Zealots. By 70 AD, it's said that every Jew in the land adopted the philosophy of the Zealots. The entire nation. So when Jesus was here, it was seething through the culture. Okay, so he was very aware of the Zealot movement as people begin to gather and really believe that he's going to take that he's going to be the leader to help them take the kingdom by force. That's why they were waving palm branches in his triumphal entry. It's because they thought it was time. They were beginning to adopt that philosophy, thinking it's time for another revolt. All right. Now, when we're on the Mount of Olives, we'll talk a little bit about its triumphal entry because it's a little bit interesting. Lord willing, we'll get there. But the final stand for the revolt that started in 66 AD ended here. The temple was destroyed in 70, and the city was destroyed in 71. 960 zealots made their way to this mountain and took it over. All right? They had plenty of fresh water, and they had plenty of food. It said that thousands could have survived here for decades due to the amount of fresh water and food. All right? So it was a safe place. Now there's one path up, technically two, which I'll talk about in a second, but one public path, and you saw it on our way up. Okay, it's the path of the snake path, the trail of the serpent. All right, and you would walk that thing all the way to the top to get access to this place. There was one more on the back side, but it was a private entrance for Herod only. All right, so you couldn't go up that. So if you wanted to come here, you had to take this path. It takes about 45 minutes to an hour. So what Ben and I were talking, I've hiked it a couple of times. Took my father-in-law up at one time, and I thought I was going to kill him. And I just don't. It's just something you don't want to do. Life would not be happy. So we took a lot of breaks. Took us a lot longer than an hour. But the point is it's an intense path. There's a ton of stairs, and it's if you watched it going up or you look down on it, I mean that thing is windy, windy. You know why they call it the path of the snake and the serpent. Okay. Now they come here and they settle here. All right. In the midst of the revolt, the way that Rome ultimately was able to gain the upper hand in the midst of the Jewish revolt was due to a famous historian named Josephus. Okay? Have I talked to you guys about Josephus yet? No. Okay, good. I'm always getting some stuff. I don't know what I've said, what I haven't. So Josephus, he was a priest in a town called Sepphoris, which was right down the road from Nazareth. Okay, just a few miles from Nazareth. Whenever Rome comes in the midst of the revolt, they break the stronghold at Sepphoris first, and the result of that is that Josephus says, if you don't kill me, you spare my life, I will tell you how to ultimately defeat the Zealots and tell you how to get access to all of their strongholds. Their next stop is Gamla. Gamla was the headquarters for who? The Zealots. That's exactly right. Remember when we were standing on top of Mount Arbel and I said Gamla, you were supposed to think Zealots? That was it, the north of the Sea of Galilee, okay? They go there. The way that they get in is that the entirety of the outside, okay, of their town, which sat on top of this massive hill that looks like a camel's hump, that's what Gamla means. Every room in the walls had been filled with stone, thus making the wall a lot thicker. Okay, so very, very hard to penetrate, almost unpenetrable. And it sits up so high, I mean, the ability to access it would have been quite hard. There was one room that had not been filled with stones. Josephus told the Romans which room it was, thus they were able to break in.
Wow.
Okay? Because he was a priest. Everybody adopted the Zealot movement.
Okay.
Jesus most likely taught. He says he taught at all of the synagogues in Galilee. Gamla has a synagogue in Galilee. So you got to wonder if Jesus was even there. Okay? And so it was normal traffic and all through there. And so Josephus was a betrayer, is the point. Is what he did, and he ends up back in Rome, and thus he writes his Antiquities, okay? And as a result of his life being spared, all right? So this whole thing got started. Josephus helped. The final stand was here in the midst of the revolt. 960 of them are here. How in the world do you get up this mountain? Okay? And maybe you might know the history of this place, so don't spoil it for people that maybe don't know it. But you got to ask the question, how did they get up here? All right? Now, as the Romans are making their way this direction, they're taking a multitude of Jews hostage, as well as slaughtering vast amounts of them. And then they come here, they have a large amount of Jews that are hostage among them, all right? And they kill the multitude when they've gotten here. They build a wall all around the base of this thing, all right? Be watching for the wall. It's all around. Everybody, you'll be able to see it. There's a Roman fort back this direction. You'll see another Roman fort back over here, down low below us, and you can see it. The wall, from up here, you can't tell how tall it is. The wall was very small. They say only 5 or 6 feet. But from up here, it could be 20 feet. You don't know. It was psychological. Okay? So if they were to run down, they don't know if they're not going to be able to get over the wall or not going to be trapped. So from up here, you can't tell them. All right? So you can still see the wall go all the way around the outside of this thing throughout the entirety of it. Okay?
They didn't see them build it?
They're watching them build it, but you can't tell how tall it is. Look down at that thing right now, and when you look at it right now, it looks, from up here, it might look really small. When you're down there, it's actually a lot taller than what it looks like. So you don't know. Like, how do you judge height whenever you're looking down at something way up here?
from above.
And you just don't know. So that it gave the feeling we're trapped, is the idea.
Yeah.
So the 960 were here. This place doesn't fall till 73. Okay? So 73 AD. All right? And the way that it fell is absolutely fascinating. And the story behind it is the result of Josephus. He tells us what happens. All right? So we're going to talk about that as we begin to make our journey. All right? Any comments or questions? Tali, do you have anything to add? Are you sure? Okay. All right.
What was your point of saying that they captured Jews along the way? Did they use them to help build the wall? What?
We're going to get to that. I made the statement for a reason. Yes.
With the stabbings that were happening here in the fall, do you think there's any symbolic reference to that in the Sakari? There were a lot of stabbings in Jerusalem this fall.
Oh.
There were like 46 stabbings happening.
Uh-huh. But it was Muslims or was it Jews?
It was Muslims to the Jews. So I was just wondering if there was any.
It's I don't know. But again, yes and no, but
I know part of it was because of the technology and security that Israel has that pretty much Kaiser is the only way they can.
Right. So Peter cuts off an ear with a Sakari, which means that it wasn't a oops, it was a, because if you're defiled, you cannot enter the temple. He actually took his occupation away from it. So it was a statement. and Jesus heals it so that he doesn't lose his job.
So that old thing.
Because he was serving the high priest.
And he ducked his
That's all we think. And he's like, no, it was a very deliberate thing whenever he did it. Grab the ear and probably cut it off.
That's crazy.
Yes.
So Judas of the 12, Sakari, Judas Iscariot.
So, well, I'm gonna let Judas. I'm gonna leave Judas. I'm not gonna talk about him right now. There's a location I want to talk about him. But yeah, so at least 4 of Jesus' disciples were zealots. Okay, at least 4. By the time we get to the garden, they're probably all moving in that direction, including Judas. But there was Judas Iscariot. We're not told that he was a zealot, but there was another Judas that was a zealot. There's 2 Judases.
Iscariot is not Sakari, that's not the main.
No, but we will talk about Judas because the reason he did what he did was because he was adopting the zealot mentality. And we're going to talk more about that. Comments or questions? Let's go check it out. Awesome. Okay, you want to, hey, walk up with me. Come up front.
I know, right? It's like,
I think this is our ticket back.